Welcome to another episode of Agentic AI, the future of intelligent systems. This is the last podcast for the year. And before getting into today's episode, there's something important to say. Thank you for listening, for liking, and for sharing this podcast through the year. These conversations only work because people take the time to engage with them. And that's deeply appreciated. At the start of 2025, the AI narrative felt settled. Bigger models, more agents, faster rollouts. There was a strong belief that intelligence alone would carry systems into production, that if models became smart enough, everything else would just work. By the end of the year, that belief changed. The conversations that mattered were no longer about capability, they were about behavior. Not demos, but failure modes. Not benchmarks, but surprises. Not how powerful systems had become, but how unpredictable they were once they touched real data, real users, and real constraints. 2025 didn't end with a breakthrough, it ended with exposure. And that shift tells us a lot about what's coming next. So, as the year wraps up, here are my top predictions for 2026. One of the biggest changes is this: AI finally gets treated for what it is, just software, not magic, not strategy, not leadership, critical software that has to be designed before it's deployed, tested before it's trusted, governed before it's scaled. The language around AI will become less dramatic and more precise. The decks may get less exciting, but systems will become far more reliable. Another thing becomes clear in 2026: model upgrades break more things than anyone expected. Upgrading a model won't feel like upgrading a library. The same prompt won't guarantee the same behavior. Even small version changes will have real impact. Release planning will move away from feature testing and toward behavior testing. Rollback plans will exist not because systems go down, but because behavior suddenly changes. There's another shift. It's quieter, but just as important. The most valuable AI skill becomes the ability to say no. Prompt engineering will mature, agent orchestration will expand, and then restraint starts to stand out. The most trusted engineers will be the ones who can say, this doesn't need an agent. This should stay deterministic. This costs more than it's worth, financially and environmentally. AI usage will keep growing. Unnecessary AI usage won't. Trust changes too. It stops being a slide and starts becoming a budget line item. Behavior validation, auditability, explainability, cost visibility, carbon visibility, they all show up in real planning conversations. Systems that can't explain why they acted or what they consumed in the process won't make it past procurement. Not because of regulation, because finance teams finally see the bills clearly. As this happens, some words quietly disappear from marketing. One of them is autonomous, not because systems become less capable, but because organizations learn something important. Accountability can't be autonomous. Risk can't be delegated to probability. Trust can't be assumed. The focus shifts to well behaved systems instead. Less flashy, far more useful, and maybe the most important realization of all is about people. As AI becomes embedded everywhere, it becomes impossible to ignore something. AI was never about real intelligence. Real intelligence has always come from people. AI can generate options, accelerate execution, scale patterns faster than any team ever could, but it can't set intent. It can't own consequences. And it can't decide what shouldn't be automated. What AI does in 2026 is make this distinction impossible to miss. As more work gets automated, the value of human judgment, context, and accountability rises. It doesn't fall. The strongest organizations won't be the ones with the most AI. They'll be the ones that design systems around what humans are uniquely good at. AI scales execution. People create intelligence. And before 2026 starts holding this episode accountable, it's worth ending on a lighter note. These predictions are part insight, part exaggeration, part end of year indulgence. They're shared with a smile, not a crystal ball. If even one of them turns out to be true, it will be purely accidental. Thank you again for listening through the year. Wishing everyone a calm holiday season, fewer dashboards, more clarity, and systems that behave exactly as designed. See you in 2026.